Maybe the first place in this video is a little controversial, but I ask that you watch the video, understand my arguments and the criteria I used, okay? So guys, how are you? I hope you are well. I am the Monio, the interdimensional demon who talks the most about Jujutsu Kaisen on YouTube, and you are on my channel. Originally this video was going to be a top 10, but the last two would be curses that no one really cares about, so let's get to it. In 8th place, we have Choso. Choso is a cursed womb, also known as death painting, and is also a cursed spirit of a special degree. And although he existed as a cursed object, Choso was intelligent and self-aware, which allowed him to perfect his techniques for 150 years, something that did so that, when he was incarnated, he would have already mastered the manipulation of blood, to the point that he far surpasses the current Noritoshi Kumo. His cursed energy is immense, as he was one of Kenjaku's creations, made to surpass most humans and cursed spirits. He is constantly controlling his blood with cursed energy, which allows him to produce more blood at will, and he was able to use this constantly during the Shibuya conflict without ever coming close to depleting his reserves. Plus his blood is poison, and quickly drains the resistance of your enemies. In addition, as it is a cursed spirit, it still has considerable regeneration power, making it an even more difficult enemy to defeat. In addition to the use of blood, Choso also has many physical abilities. We have all seen his immense skill in hand-to-hand combat against Yuji Itadori in the Shibuya arc, where even in an environment of extreme disadvantage, he manages to beat Sukuna's host. Choso also battles Naoya Zenin, and was able to defeat the powerful sorcerer in an attempt to protect Itadori, and despite being injured by Naoya, he turned his wound into an advantage and once again managed to overcome Naoya, using different moves from his manipulating blood in several clever ways. For his skill set, and his mastery of the cursed blood control technique, Choso comes in 8th place. In 7th place, we have Hanami. Hanami is one of the special level cursed spirits, which has never been recorded, and who was born out of fear of earthly natural disasters, and who wanted to rid the planet of humanity. Because of the way humans treat nature, Hanami is able to move through the plants and move underground, to quickly escape from enemies. Most of her cursed techniques could be seen in the first season of the anime, in her fight against Yuji and Tadu, where she uses plant and root manipulation to launch very powerful ranged attacks, with an immense range, in addition to projectiles with wood and plants that cause damage to the enemy's body. Hanami has also shown herself capable of using very advanced techniques, such as domain amplification, which is a technique that neutralizes all other cursed techniques it comes into contact with, but instead of remaining in a designated space it acts as a fluid shield that covers your body, similar to an aura. Hanami has a very high resistance, being able to resist Toji Inamaki's cursed speech, and the current Noritoshi Kumo's blood technique, without receiving much damage, was also able to resist Tadu's blows with a special level cursed tool, and even though she was very injured, she even managed to survive after being partially hit by Satoru Gojo's Purple Hollow, due to her high regeneration capacity. One of Hanami's main differences is her ability to hide her presence extremely effectively, surprising her enemies. She even managed to surprise Gojo, to be able to rescue Jogo, and this is extremely difficult since Gojo has 6 eyes, which gives him an absurd perception of everything around him, and even so he was unable to notice Hanami's presence. Therefore, in my opinion, Hanami is in 7th place on the list. In 6th place, we have Kururushi. This special level cursed spirit, in the form of a cockroach, was released by Kenjaku's manipulation of spirits during the Culling Game arc, and its existence was generated by humanity's fear and despair for cockroaches. For this reason, Kururushi has all the physiology of a cockroach, but despite having an instinct to satisfy an infinite appetite, he is not irrational, being relatively intelligent compared to most cursed spirits, and possessing the ability to summon and manipulate cockroaches. Infinite, which are reinforced by his cursed energy. Kururushi has special levels of cursed energy, and therefore, any and all cockroaches under his control receive enough energy to devour humans. By releasing his swarms, and devouring people, Kururushi's infinite appetite is stimulated, through his parthenogenesis, where he becomes capable of producing even more cockroaches, and with his innate technique, he is able to manipulate other insects that use substances toxic to attack enemies. In addition to using cursed techniques, he has also shown himself capable of using cursed tools, such as the Festering Life Sword, which is a cursed blade that mixes life and death, and one of its characteristics is to launch insect eggs at its target, which penetrate the body and automatically hatch inside the victim, causing several cursed insects to rot and rupture the target's body from within their skin. This is an extremely dangerous and deadly curse, being capable of even hurting Yudo Katsu, who initially had difficulty facing it, and that is why for me, Kururushi deserves 6th place on the list. In 5th place, we have Dagon. Dagon is another special level cursed spirit that has never been recorded, which was born from the fear of natural disasters related to water, and he existed as a cursed womb until he evolved during the Shibuya incident. He has the ability to generate and control water, which makes him a huge threat, as he can completely flood an environment, leaving his enemies at a huge disadvantage. In his evolved form, Dagon was much stronger, smarter, and more resistant, and was also able to produce water on an absurd scale, which he uses in his fights, facing 2 level 1 sorcerers and easily overcoming them, using attacks in which he summons fish, devours and shikigamis of sea serpents, sharks, and other fish infinitely, which makes it a very difficult enemy to defeat, especially if your opponent is in the water. He can also summon crustacean shikigami, which are simply gigantic. Seriously, look at these animals, they must be the size of a building. But the Monio, Dagon was beaten by Toji Fushiguro, and I'll tell you yes, but Toji was even able to defeat Gojo when he was younger, so it's no demerit to lose to Toji. If Dagon had won the fight against Toji, he would be in a higher ranking. In 4th place, we have Mahito. Mahito is also among the unregistered special level cursed spirits, and here we enter the characters who are extremely powerful, as Mahito has a power equivalent to at least 3 fingers of Sukuna, and his power to shape the souls of enemies makes him one of the most dangerous. Everyone must already have an idea of how strong Mahito is, as he was able to beat Mekamaru, who was in an Evangelion, and with an absurd power that he accumulated for decades, a power that even surpassed Mahito's in my opinion. But Mekamaru was not able to win, and this just shows that defining who wins is not just a matter of measuring power, as the character's skills count a lot in defining a fight. Mahito is an extremely difficult enemy to face, as he can not only change his own physical form, but also the form of his enemies with his idol transfiguration, so if you try to hit him with a weapon or something like that, he can assume a tiny form, making this nearly impossible. On the other hand, if he wants to hit an enemy, he can assume practically any form that is useful, extend his body as he pleases, creating projectiles, blades, thorns, weapons of all types, and the worst of all, is that he doesn't even need to actually hurt his enemy. If you are touched by Mahito, he can already use his idol transfiguration and completely destroy his opponent. Even if the opponent manages to dodge all of Mahito's blows and avoid being touched, Mahito can still use his domain expansion, which makes his enemy 100% vulnerable to his idol transfiguration. As if all this were not enough, Mahito still has another ability that he awakens after finding the true essence of his soul, and he creates a new body made for battle, stronger and more resistant. But the Monio, you said that all you need to do is touch the enemy for Mahito to be able to destroy him, but in the fight against Itadori, there are some moments when they touch, and nothing happens. Yes, it's true, but Itadori is a very specific case, as Mahito cannot use idol transfiguration on him, since Itadori also has Sukuna's soul, and if Mahito tries to use this skill on Itadori, Sukuna automatically stops him, like this has happened in the first season, in which Sukuna appears to Mahito and says that if that happened again, he would destroy him. So technically speaking, Itadori is Mahito's perfect counter, and that's why Itadori is initially able to resist and maintain the fight, yet Mahito is extremely dangerous and deserves 4th place on the list. In 3rd place, we have Jogo. Jogo, like these latest rankings, is a special, unregistered level cursed spirit that arose through humanity's fear of volcanoes and fire-related natural disasters. Jogo believed that cursed spirits were true humans, and desired a world where his kind dominated the earth. Jogo was very strong, possessing an extremely high level of cursed energy even by the standards of a special level, and according to Kenjaku, he has a power equivalent to 8 or 9 Sukuna fingers, and if you think that's an exaggeration, see this scene. In general, Jogo can use attacks with very high temperature flames, but this specific technique is extremely powerful, and Sukuna himself admits that if he had been hit, he could have been injured, and after the battle, the King of Curses attests that Jogo was strong, being one of the few characters to have been praised by Sukuna. But the Monio, even though Sukuna said this, in the first season Gojo says Jogo is weak, so which one is right? Well, you have to understand that they are different comparisons, In Gojo's speech, he is comparing himself with Jogo. In Sukuna's speech, he is not comparing Jogo with himself. He is saying that Jogo is strong, compared to the enemies that he has faced in the past, whether sorcerer or cursed spirits. Many people argue that Jogo is weak, because in his fights he lost very easily, but the truth is that he is extremely powerful, but he was unlucky to face the two strongest characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, which are Gojo and Sukuna, but still, the Volcano Head deserves third place on the list. Secondly, we have Rika. Yes, the same Rika from the film Jujutsu Kaisen 0, who is a cursed spirit of a special level, who possessed such great power that it impressed even Satoru Gojo, and who was incomparable in terms of destructive potential, being considered a serious threat by superiors of Jujutsu, and because of this, she received the title of Queen of Curses. Rika Orimoto is originally Yudo Katsu's childhood friend, who tragically died in a car accident, but who was unconsciously cursed, to the point where her soul became linked to a vengeful spirit that accompanies Yuta. Rika's cursed energy was practically infinite, and after Yuta unlocked her maximum potential, she showed a power never seen before, being able to defeat Geto and destroy all the curses he used. In addition, by accessing the full power of Rika, Yuta manages through her to copy practically any ability he wants, being able to use them despite his inexperience. Yuta was able to use the cursed technique Cursed Speech from the Inumaki clan, only with greater efficiency, since the cursed energy was much greater. Rika is without a doubt one of the cursed spirits with the greatest destructive potential of all. Many even questioned whether Satoru Gojo at the time would be able to beat her in a fight, and it is for all this that Rika comes in second place on the list. Firstly, we have Maharaga. Maharaga is a Shikigami known as the Divine General, whose function is to eliminate curses with the use of positive energy, mainly with the use of his sword, known as the Sword of Extermination, and if he had been in his original body, Sukuna would have died when receiving this blow, due to positive energy, remembering that Shikigamis are also a specific type of cursed spirits. Maharaga is so powerful that no user of the 10 Shadows technique has managed to dominate him. It is said that an ancient user of the 6 Eyes and also of Infinity fought in the past against one of the strongest users of the 10 Shadows that ever existed, and the two tied in the fight, and this means that even if this ancient user of the 10 Shadows was probably as strong as Gojo, he was unable to overpower the Divine General. Maharaga has what is probably one of the greatest displays of strength in the entire work, which is when he hits Sukuna, and makes him fly with the impact, and through 3 buildings, in addition to being able to resist countless extremely powerful cutting blows, delivered by the King of Curses. But what makes Maharaga an almost invincible opponent is his ability to adapt to any technique, and Sukuna saw this in practice as Maharaga adapted to his cutting strikes, until they lost their effectiveness. When Sukuna decides to use his innate domain, his cleave and dismantle any living moves are incredibly ineffective and are unable to defeat Maharaga, who was already very adapted from previous moves, forcing Sukuna to develop a strategy that involves the arrow technique, fire, to be able to win. But if it were Sukuna from the first season, who still had few fingers, he wouldn't be able to win, and that's why I consider Maharaga to be an absolute first place on this list. But the Monio, how can you put Maharaga in first place and ignore Sukuna, who defeated him? Sukuna was supposed to be in first place, but he doesn't even appear on the list. How do you explain that? Well, Sukuna is not being considered in this list because he is originally a sorcerer, and not a cursed spirit. Although Sukuna holds the title of King of Curses, he was born as a human, and that is why he does not appear in this list. So if you want to know Sukuna's position in relation to other sorcerers, like Gojo for example, watch my video on the top 10 most powerful Jujutsu sorcerers. But the Monio, you said you didn't include Sukuna because he was originally a human, but Rika was also human, and she's on the list. Her criteria doesn't make any sense. Rika is a different case, as she was not a sorcerer, and her power does not come from the character who was Yuta's friend, but from the curse that Yuta created. Because at the end of the film Jujutsu Kaisen 0, we can see that the Rika's soul was freed from the curse, but the cursed spirit Rika continues to exist independently of human Rika. So we can say that Yuta's friend Rika and cursed spirit Rika are technically different characters, and the one being considered in this list is the spirit cursed Rika. Okay? Remembering that if there is a character missing from this list, perhaps he is on my other list of the most powerful sorcerers in Jujutsu. I will leave the video on the final screen. And you, do you agree with my list? Would it change the position of any character in the rankings? Leave it in the comments, and if you like the video, subscribe to follow the next content. Until next time my people, demonic hugs.